Power Trip is headed to the island. Enjoy the guys at Treasure Island May 28th and 29th for 2 shows full of games, tons of laughs, and great prizes, including trips to Las Vegas. Book your stay and save 20% with promo code KFAN. Plus a special announcement you don't want to miss. Full details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
What up, Nordo in for PA on a Monday? Brett Blakemore producing, you just heard him. And in studio now, he covers everything. He's the columnist for the Star Tribune, StarTribune.com. Lavelle E. Neal III. It's been a while. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's good to see you.
Good to be seen. Good to see their progress made in the rehab here, or the renovation.
It's coming together.
I love the asylum motif you guys are going with outside here.
Doesn't it? And isn't it fitting? Just put all of us in straitjackets,
Yes,
man.
exactly.
I mean, it's too bright. Lil B, Barb, we adore her. She's been catching, for some reason, a lot of undue flack and some very, scathing and accusatory related rants from those of us here.
Oh, is this her creation?
Well, we needed to know. No, it's not. That's the thing. But she just has been, sadly, the sounding board for those of us that are like, no, can we get some color on the doors? You painted the freaking, as if it was her decision. It was not.
It's 50,000 lumens every time you go out in the
wear
hallways.
sunglasses now when I come over here.
Sunglasses indoors if you find your way into our studios. I assume that you were available today because you in a heartbeat, Lavelle, and it feels this way, and we kind of sadly got to deal with it every year. We went from every other night, something cool. Every other night, some drama. Every other night, fighting our way into the series. We got to close out the series. The talkers, it was plug and play, cruise control in terms of the fervor for hockey and hoops fans in this town. And in a blink, over a 48-hour period, it's taken away from us, Lavelle. You haven't run out of things to write, have you?
Not at all. Not at all.
Good.
It was just weird. Because Tuesday was the Frost losing in Game 5, and Wednesday was the Wild losing, and then Friday was the Wolves. And in the span of a few days, poof, there goes your postseason coverage of the 2 hockey teams and the 1 hoops team. Yeah. But there's still.
It was kind of impressive the Frost made it to 5 too.
Yeah. At least they got us to Lynx season. The Lynx are an intriguing team, waiting for Nafisha Collier to come back and Dorka Juhas to get over a midfoot sprain. And you got Olivia Miles, it looks like the rookie of the year in the WNBA, which is saying a lot considering Cheryl Reeve is tough on point guards because she used to be one. So that's an intriguing bit. And you got the Twins now to dominate the summer. You got the Loons, the James Rodriguez's less Loons. As they try to be relevant in the crazy Western Conference. And I know some people are rolling their eyes at this, but hey, it used to be just the Twins, in the summer.
Yeah.
Now you got MLS, now you got WNBA, you got some options. And if that's not enough for you, go watch a concert.
Can I ask you something? Now, you want to talk about rolling eyes. The corner office is going to roll their eyes because for the second time now, technically the third.
Yeah.
The sport of soccer is going to come up 9 to noon. And I love the beautiful game. I grew up playing it at a mediocre level. I've followed it. I adore it. The World Cup's around the corner. We're going to do a freaking podcast again, and you can't say no to that, Lavelle. You're in.
Okay.
But
we have to. It's in the United States, for goodness sake.
It's our tournament. We're hosting it. And we are going to get out of the group. I truly believe that we're going to house that group. Ain't no thing. And then you're on your own after that. We shall see. Anyway, this James Rodriguez thing, and I love the Loon. My scarf is up. I love Minnesota United. Are you kidding me with the cash grab / con game that James pulled on this franchise? And just knowing the excitement, both what they presented as a team, hearing a little bit of it behind the scenes, how cool this was. Now, he's 12 years removed from his brilliance at the World Cup as a youngin'.
Yes.
So this had a little bit of retirement home / I just need to get in game shape for this upcoming World Cup. So I know all that. Well, this Colombian rolls in. He's not available. There's freaking visa issues. Was he sick? Is he dinged up? Precautionary bits. I think he logged maybe a game and a half. Maybe I think he assisted on 1 goal in his time. 2? Okay, perfect. I'm not giving him enough credit.
In 1 game. It was a great game by him.
That's just that. That stinks for the Loons. I hate that for them because this Hamas thing really had a chance to be a terrific ramp up as part not just of their season, but into World Cup season this summer. I just think that kind of stunk a little bit.
The Loons knew what they were getting into when they signed this agreement. They knew that Hamas could just opt out right after the World Cup and not come back, and he had that option and he took it. So they had to be prepared for this to happen. You understand? So, the starting, the blast off to all this was a little rough because one, he was not in shape.
Yeah.
Two, he had some sort of injury, and then he had the mysterious illness or whatever he had. That kept him off the field at the beginning.
Was it bilateral leg weakness?
No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
I don't think it was. But
general soreness?
You have to look at it like this. It only cost him about $250,000 for this stretch here
that's not bad.
For Hamas. And I would imagine they probably made 6 figures in jersey sales with the bid here. So the hit is not going to be as bad.
So Bill's still getting paid. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to think that the next time they go this route with like an international star, that the person would stick around for a while.
Yeah.
That would be great. But they knew what they were getting. They knew. And
he played 6 matches. He had 2 assists.
In the same game.
And that was that. In the same game.
Yeah. And that was it.
So, and there's your Loons career.
And then he was gone.
I think one was on a set piece to Mark Canish, who headed it home. And then the second one
was a nice goal.
The second one was really nice because he threaded a pass between 2 defenders to someone cutting into the box for a goal. So, but I was like you at the beginning of this. I was like, the Loons got fleeced.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. I just thought it was a con game. That's all. But you're right. In fairness, they knew, and that it was always going to be a short-term relationship.
Yeah. Close look at the Loons. I made an inquiry to someone with your organization about how many Hamas jerseys were sold. And someone's supposed to get back with me. Can you please effort this and make this happen so I could get an idea of what the impact of Hamas being in the Loons jersey for 6 weeks was?
Just a little boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little boost. The Wolves bow out on Friday night. That's kind of been the dominating talker as far as today's show has gone on a Monday, our next first opportunity to react to it on the airwaves. As you watch that thing unfold on Friday, season comes to an end with a thud. Just what popped in your head, and what have you thought about since Friday night?
That the one issue with the Wolves that's been rearing its head for the last few years, not having a true point guard. Well, they have one in Mike Conley, but he can't log the minutes anymore.
He old.
I think it's held everybody back. I mean, as bad as lousy as Julius Randle was in this series, that I think he would be better off if he actually had a point guard.
I agree.
Running the show, everybody would be, because a good point guard is the guy that helps everybody get better. So I think it just shows that, one, they swung and missed hard on Dillingham. That was a massive swing and miss because they moved up, traded assets, right, to move up and select Dillingham, who couldn't last 2 seasons here. That's a big L. And
I don't think they saw any spark because Finch has gotten a lot of guff about developing young talent, but it's not as if Dillingham went to Chicago and suddenly I'm free and he's making waves in the Windy City. I
was actually tracking Leonard Miller more after the trade than Dillingham, because I've sat there and talked to Wolves people and talked to other beat writers. Like, Leonard Miller looks like he could play. He looks like he's a player. His movements, his actions look like I'm a cultured, confident baller. But it doesn't. The stat line never shows up.
No,
so
not.
I was and Miller splashed a couple games, but nothing that said, oh, he's going to take off now. So, yeah, they've got to get a point guard. I don't know what's going to take for them to get one and who they're going to move. It seems like Tim Connolly's good at surprising us with these moves. I think now when we're expecting him to make a move, it's going to be a little more difficult for him. I don't see the Giannis angle at all. Plus, that's another guy who likes to have the ball in his hand. So now you're going to have Giannis and Ant. But I will say this. Instead of doing that during the regular season, you do it during the offseason. They have time to work this out, to figure out how they could coexist. But the assets that's going to be required to pull off that transaction is going to be ridiculous. I would really focus on a point guard first.
Well, it's kind of interesting you bring up that with Giannis. And maybe Giannis doesn't see it this way. When they won a title, they had Chris Middleton, who was able to play point / a good 2. His play's fallen off a cliff since they won the title. But they had Drew Holiday in that mix as well. Again, a superstar that in some ways required a true point guard to initiate the offense. And that's been part of the, kind of the talker, Ant. I just don't think Ant can ever truly be the main ball handler. And by the way, that's okay. A lot of people have made a lot of money and won a lot of games being the two. I think he should be the two. I think he should just be the guy that scores a ton of points and is a superstar doing the things he's great at and not forcing him to handle the ball. Let's get a true point in here.
Or have a guard who could play like a John Paxson type role next to Mike. Because when Mike got the double team, Pax followed him around. It was like he was kind of like this invisible tethering here. He would just follow Jordan around. When the double team came, Jordan could throw out, Pax open for three. And John Paxson hit over, there was a couple years I think he shot over 50% from the field in that role.
Embarrassing question, by the way, is Paxson, and I know who he is, was he the primary point guard during the title winning years?
Well, I just don't remember. He was the guy who was in the one, but don't forget, they had Jordan, also had Scottie Pippen. Yeah. And Pippen could kind of initiate things as well. So it kind of worked out together because they had Piff as well. But, Pax would throw out, he would distribute the ball a little bit and get some assists, but he would be there as a safety valve when Jordan needed to throw the ball out. So I mean, there's different ways of going about fixing this, but they need a guy whose distribution and creativity could help everyone out and take the responsibility off Ant, so he could be more of the elite shooting guard that he is. But I don't see who would want Rudy Gobert at that price. If everybody's mad at Julius Randle and wants him off the roster, who starts at 4 next year?
Yeah.
This is going to be really tricky for Connolly. And who's going to be available? Who's going to be willing to move the assets? Are we going to have to rely on bringing in like a very veteran guy? Or the Kevin Durant rumor is going to start again, or So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how Connolly goes about his business this offseason. But I would figure out a way to get a point guard in here.
Well, yes, absolutely. Doesn't this kind of feel, excuse me, I mean, it's different, but similar in regard where look at OKC. They're hitting on every draft pick effectively.
And they got a lot of draft picks.
And they got a ton of them.
The Wolves don't have a lot of capital. They have some, but not a lot.
The Spurs are succeeding via the draft. The quick turnaround.
They got young studs.
The Wolves are stuck in this conundrum where they have maybe a top 5 player in the league in Anthony Edwards, but they just haven't figured out how to add bodies via the draft. And Dillingham doesn't work out. You're moving on. We're having a trade conversation about trading away more. We're going to have to trade away more equity to get better in those spots. That's something as impressive as it's been that Tim Connolly's been able to wheel and deal his way to where we've been. That has to get better. Berenger has to make a difference next year, right? Those sorts of conversations, similar to the way we've talked about the Vikings relying on free agents, like drafting better in this town. It isn't just an Egan, it's a Minneapolis too.
I'm not saying they should do this, but when you look at this situation with a young Spurs team rising faster than people anticipated, in an Oklahoma City team that's
just draft 50 guards.
Exactly. Do you consider the nuclear option and just blow everything up and rebuild around Ant and see if you do a quick rebuild with young guys who have a lot of talent? Once again, I don't know what they could get in return for some of the guys they have on their roster right now. I don't know. But
that's the conversation, like Jaden, right? I mean, there's been a lot of conversation, like, we won't do, if it includes Jaden McDaniels, we're out. There's part of me that's like, well, why?
It seems like when Jaden plays well, the Wolves are unbeatable because he's doing the defense-offense combination.
And that's probably why, because I do love Jaden, but it's just what we've seen in some of these series is the emotional volatility boils over, and Jaden's taking bad fouls, and Randall's putting him, he's backing down to the basket and offering up 5 turnovers in a game. It's just the emotional volatility of this team. It kind of frustrates me with some of these players that I love.
Plus, the postseason is all about matchups, man. In the Denver series, they found a team that was woefully deficient in terms of man-to-man defense, and they took advantage of that. And, Jake McDaniels called himself out, basically ripping the entire Nuggets defensive roster, and, that kind of fueled him the rest of the series. But matchups are different from series to series. Julius Randle was okay against the Nuggets. He was out of his element against OKC. Against the Nuggets.
So and Rudy against the Nugs. no shot against Wemby, no shot last year against OKC. The matchups, you're right, man. You're right.
Yeah, so when you decide, okay, we can't have Rudy on Wemby, well, who's the option 2 to guard Wemby, you know? Yeah. And then it's game over. It's good night, Irene. When Berenger's not ready to be thrown to that wolf.
No.
You know?
I want to see him play, man. I can't wait to see Berenger getting requisite minutes to even just start getting some traction on the court.
I just want to see the, what workout plan they give him to see if he can add some strength and some more flexibility.
Yeah.
Come back a little more, play a little more instinctive, a little more intentional. You know, now that he's got a year to see what the league is like. Could we have a twin tower thing, twin stifles with Rudy and Johan on the court at the same time? I don't know. and plus the next draft, they got to find a guy who's useful. They got to, if they have a draft pick, they may have to trade it to get.
Yeah, correct.
To get a body here.
That's Lavelle Neal III, columnist, Star Tribune. He's in studio. When we return, maybe a bit more on the how, but I like to go potpourri when I got Lavelle in studio. So I got several different topics and paths that we might go. And no more soccer, I promise, to the 2 texters who are very, very angry.
Well, Tottenham needing a point in the last 2 games. That's a pack of lunch because there's no way Everton's going to come into Tottenham and lose on the last game of the season with Jordan Pickford. You're not getting to go past him. So
that is correct. Down go the Spurs. Brett's got a cash thing, and we'll be back in moments.
Yeah, we can get a scoreless draw out of that. The Fan at BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks for the National Cash Contest at KFAN.com. The keyword is Bills. The keyword is Bills for this hour. KFAN.com. Keyword Bills.
You're listening to Eric Nordquist in for Paul Allen on The Fan.
Elbows through that, nearly took out Nasri. Castle pops on a 3 and hits again. A left side 3 feet beyond the arc. It's up to 28 points. Stephon Castle. Here's Ant in the lane, lobs into the corner, and airmailed Mike Conley.
I love that that's the end of the highlight. That from Game 6 on Friday night. Alan Horton, Jim Pete, another tremendous season of Wolves basketball. Lavelle Neal III in studio. You just made my morning. You made a great point. So next week, I'm pumped. I'm going up to Ballard's for a couple days of walleye fishing next week. And you're right. It's nice of my favorite teams to bow out of the postseason so I don't feel like I'm missing out. And I can just focus on fishing, focus on Ballard's Resort,
right,
and have a blast. Some listeners are going to be going up there because my favorite teams just completely fell with a thud out of the playoffs. Our squad losing by 30. You know, they lost by 29, 30, and 38 in that 6-game series. The Wolves did half the series, completely uncompetitive.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about if Ballard's has Prime or something that you have to watch the game on.
Oh, it was great. I watched the Olympic gold medal game. I was up there ice fishing back in February.
Ice fishing?
Oh, it was unbelievable. They take you out on these giant bombardiers, those old tank-looking things on tracks. Those things are sweet. You sit in a heated ice house. They take you back in. They'll cook the fish you caught for you, spice it up for you. It's amazing. And then you can drink Bloody Marys on a Sunday morning and watch a gold medal game with 75 strangers and hug each other when you get the game winner. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Ballard's Resort is the best. You were talking off air that it's on to the Twins. So, plenty of things to go on now, whether it's Lynx doing their thing. It's and the Loons, we talked about that. But to the Twins, lost 2 of 3. They found a W yesterday. What's your angle as you're watching your favorite baseball team middling, struggling, pitching's a problem potentially? We're sweating rehab starts for Taj Bradley, but another Buxton season off to a brilliant start. Ryan Jeffers hitting the bleep out of it. Austin Martin, when he's getting extended reps, is terrific. Like, there are some cool things about this team despite being 5 under 500.
There are. Trevor Larnach actually has surprised me. I was down on him coming into this season, and he has now made himself into a usable player. He already had 1,500 career bats coming into this season. I'm like, you are what you are now at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know why the Twins should bring him back. So I got to admit I was wrong. Because Larnach right now, he's got a 390 on base percentage. He's cut down on his strikes significantly. He's got 20 walks and 22 strikeouts. That's excellent. 792 OPS, not bad at all. So he's made himself into a reasonable player, and that's what you want to see over the course of a season.
Yeah.
Some people figuring it out, because Royce Lewis, my man, has not figured it out.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
He's in his old head. You could tell he's trying to bunt his way on. It's not working. The swing is off. The mechanics are a jumble. He probably needs to go down to AAA and kind of work on some things, but I don't know how much is that going to help right now. When he made the comments to The Athletic a couple weeks ago about how he was worrying, looking over his shoulder as to who may be replacing him if they send him down, I was like, that is not the right attitude to have, man.
Sounds like he's already mentally in St. Paul.
He doesn't have the optimism that he normally has. Now Royce is a cool cat, and he likes to chat, and he likes to give people quotes and comments based on what they're writing about. That may be part of it, but when I read that, I kind of cringed a little bit. So he shouldn't have to worry about someone replacing him. Kalen Culpepper's a shortstop. Maybe it would be Brooks Lee, and Brooks was playing better at the beginning of the year. I haven't checked his stats lately because I've been in Wolves wild frost hell here with the playoff runs.
Heaven.
I know I haven't. Well, yeah, it was
It
exciting.
was awesome.
Every day there was something going on. Something to talk about playoff wise. But Brooks got to a slow start, then he heated up. Let's see where he's at now. He's at 247. 680 OPS, so still that's a little bit less than what I want to see him from. But he's got 5 homers, so he would be the one likely to move to third base if Royce is sent down, or they may just start Ryan Kreitler at third and see how he runs with it on the
But
short
they're not
term.
long-term options, though,
No,
right?
not.
I mean, Royce isn't in a spot where he's fighting for his career. He needs to go to St. Paul. Well, I mean, I guess in some ways he is, but you know what I mean, though, where it's not like one of these guys that you just mentioned is, even if they had 10, let's call it 10 brilliant games, as soon as Royce starts heating it up in St. Paul and wants to hop on the green line back to Target Field, he's back, right?
And first of all, Culpepper's not ready. I saw them play a few days ago. He's got talent, and he can put the bat in the ball for sure, and he has proven that he can field the position well. But I don't know if they're ready to push the button on him yet. I think they want to see a little bit more from, although I haven't checked his last few games to see if he's gotten to a hot streak. But that could be the only arrangement, that Culpepper will be at short and Brooks would go to third. Because the Twins were kicking that around a couple years ago. Remember the 2 or 3 days they suddenly tried to get Royce to play some second base and have Brooks at third? First of all, if I want my third baseman to hit 30 homers a year, okay, Brooks can maybe get to 20, maybe, but I don't see him as it was like when they were talking about Carlos Correa was going to play third base if he went to San Francisco or the Mets. I was like, he's not a third baseman from a production angle. He's an 18 to 24 home run guy.
Stupid question though. What would it matter if your second baseman was Royce Lewis, and let's say he's hitting 30 plus home runs, and then therefore your third baseman might only be getting? I mean, it almost feels like it's semantics in terms of the position.
Well, you've got the future in Luke Keisha at second. So
you're right.
Now, I will say this. The other problem with this is that in terms of power production at first base, the Twins have to be among the worst in baseball.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this team has not come up with a solution at first base from within the organization. Aaron Sabato went on a major tear for St. Paul, last few weeks. I think he's cooled off a little bit. But there was a stretch there. I think he had hit like 5 homers in a week or something. So, he's a former first-round pick who was taking a lot of time to develop, and he's still not quite ready yet. But for some reason, they have not. The Twins have been unable to find a first baseman. I mean, now if you have a power station at first, then the necessity at the other positions isn't that great. You'd like everybody at the infield to mash, no doubt. But I wish they could figure out a way to get a first base, because Josh Bell, nice guy. He'll give you some offense, but he's not a first baseman. He has like my range at first. So that's why that you see Cody Clemens get some time there and some other people as well. So, this Royce Lewis thing is going to be the closely watched bit of the week. We may know more today by the time everybody gets to the ballpark for their first game of the series against the Houston Astros. I have to be out there tomorrow. for the second game. So I don't know who's pitching. Oh, Taj Bradley, by the way, threw 40 pitches, I believe, in a rehab start for the Saints yesterday.
Yeah, he's nearing return, right?
You mentioned bits about what to watch for the Twins. Health. The health report is lengthy now.
Well, I didn't think I needed to mention that because that just feels like an evergreen conversation.
Because Buxton's got a sore hip. He's missed 3 games now. He did work out on the field before yesterday's game. Mick Abel just had a cortisone shot for his triceps, right? Right elbow inflammation, but apparently it's not serious. So, but usually stuff like this happens. You have like a setback, anything related to the elbow, that's a month. So I'm not expecting to see Mick until June.
We dodged a bullet with JoJo in the elbow not too long ago.
Yep. Cole Sands out for a month about. David Festa's a disappointing one. They're talking all-star break now for Festa because of that shoulder. He had a little bit of a setback there. And you want to see the young bucks on the mound getting their experience.
If our team's going to be terrible and miss the playoffs, I want to see what the future looks like.
Walker Jenkins, AC joint sprain in his left shoulder. He's working his way back.
Come on, man.
I know. That's going to be a month for him. Look, all this stuff is a month at least. Emmanuel Rodriguez still feels some discomfort. They thought by now he would be handling in the bat, being able to swing a bat again, and he can't. So now this is going to be longer than what was anticipated. And of course, Alan Roten, torn labrum, he's out. It looks like that's going to be, they think he could start playing games in a month. So you got 4 or 5 guys out for another month.
How's Shelty handling all this?
As well as he can, it's forced him to mix and match. I mean, it kind of is par for the course for him. You have to remember, I think they have 7 different relievers with a save because he has to mix and match with that bullpen on a nightly basis. So mixing and matching with the daily lineup, I mean, managers already do that in Major League Baseball. So he's just going with the punches here, trying to fit bodies where he can. It's nothing different from a daily lineup standpoint because most lineups aren't the same from day to day. So, but
yeah, more helpless. The rest of the Western Conference with the Spurs and Thunder the next 5 years, or just Derek Shelton trying to manage a baseball team and get as good as he possibly can. More helpless. I don't know. That's a coin flip for me.
Right now,
given what he has to work with the Twins and what we're looking at with these Spurs and Thunder, holy cats!
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the Twins, especially with this Royce Lewis situation, how it's gone on in the last few weeks or so. Because he is supposed to be one of the guys. He's supposed to be one of the staples in that lineup. He's supposed to be, former high pick.
He said he never slumps.
They took instead of Hunter Green. Said he never slumped. I know he did say that.
Said he never slumps. What's happening, Royce?
Yeah, he needs to get figured out. I mean, if they want to send him to Fort Myers to the complex league and just start from scratch, you may want to do that. You may want to do that with Matt Wallner too. He's another guy. So you're seeing some guys like Martin and Larnach kind of show that they could be major league players. But 2 of the guys are supposed to be a staple of your lineup. Wallner and Lewis. This is a buzzkill for this team because you were thinking that, okay, don't know what's going to happen in 2027 with the labor dispute and the CBA negotiations, which actually started last week. They actually had their first meeting last week on the CBA. Yes, they did. So, or is that season going to be jeopardized by a lockout? So then, could the Twins be ready by 2028? Not sure now. From a pitching standpoint, they could be with Bradley. If you keep Joe Ryan around with some of these other young bits.
I like Taj.
And Bailey Ober tricking his way through complete game shutouts, you
can't argue with 89 pitches. He was crafty.
It reminded me of the game in which I covered when Carlos Silva threw a 79-pitch complete game. I think he gave up like 4 hits and 1 was a homer. It still was a complete game, but it was 79 pitches.
Wow.
Yeah, because he had that anvil of a sinker that would just drop it to the ground, and no one could get under enough to hit a fly ball. So, so those games are fun because those are fast. You're like, it keeps your attention span because you're seeing, okay, how many more guys is he going to get out now? How's he going to get this guy out? Man, he's rolling right now. You know?
And by the 3rd or 4th, everyone just starts kind of going, how many pitches has he thrown? Oh, we got to pay attention to this.
Defense is on their toes because they want to make plays behind them. It's just always a good vibe when you have a game like that.
Can get infectious. That's Lavelle Neal III in studio. I saw some news this morning, a rumor mill about maybe an official announcement about your Minnesota Vikings in the NFL draft. Final segment, 9 to noon's next. Couple more with Lavelle right here on The Fan.
Minnesota's home for the West.
Tomorrow as well, Jordan Leopold's going to be in studio. We're going to chat hockey in the NHL playoffs over the course of the first hour. There might be a barbecue bent to the show tomorrow. There might be a sports snob, sports trivia related bent to the show tomorrow. Much is up in the air, but we're going to have fun because, well, in a blink, two of our favorite teams just wiped off the postseason map. Again, 1 o'clock today, you're going to get to hear from both Bill Guerin and John Hines. That presser that Lavelle's going to attend is at 1 p.m. Billy G and Hinesy, 1 p.m. here on The Fan. I saw some news this morning, Lavelle, that I think Albert Breer reported it, or he was at least the first one to jump on X with it, that it'll be announced maybe as early as later this week. The NFL draft coming to Minneapolis. The Vikings in our fair city getting the chance to host the 2028 NFL draft. The only thing that immediately popped in my head is, where the heck are you going to put 300,000 people if they're trying to set attendance records? I have no idea. So I'm just picking Canterbury infield. Let's get everybody to Shakopee, to the best spot.
How about that?
Canterbury Park. And that would probably be the answer, right?
Well, you got to figure out a space to have, what was it, 250,000 people in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's like 250,000.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think the league built its own canopy for that, I think.
Probably.
So you need a wide open space. You need a staging area for all this stuff to happen. So, but, you go over to that 169 corridor, there's amphitheaters in that area that they could utilize. And you could have people feel there's still some open areas that people can hang out at. So, I don't know. Of course, the Wolf family owns land in that Eagan, Inver Grove Heights area.
Yeah.
But that park is going to be problematic there. They don't have a lot of entry points into, TCO, actually. Highway access is not bad. But entry into the actual area would be a little tough. I'm curious to see where this is going to end up at. But
yeah, I just wonder what it's going to look like.
To see how it is. I'll stay the hell away unless I have to cover it. I'd rather just cover it from my office and write about it. Because, just like in Pittsburgh, we're going to have roads closed and schools shut down, so the roads will be open for
169 is going to be a parking lot.
Yeah.
It already is sometimes. You ever get caught and it's just this kind of weird Southwest Metro type stuff. So I live in Chaska. You ever get caught in Renaissance Festival traffic?
Never.
Oh, it's brutal.
Heard about it. Never have.
You see masks and swords sticking out of vehicles, people wearing chainmail costumes, adults wearing chainmail costumes in line to the Renfest. And I'm just trying to get from 41 South out of Chaska to the highway, and I'm stuck behind costumes in the Renfest line.
Just think when that data center is finally put up in Chaska, how traffic's going to be on Renaissance Festival Day.
Oh, great. Hey, you are going to that presser day. Anything that you're looking for out of Billy G and Hinesy? I mean, where the Wolves is still kind of fresh from Friday night. We've kind of, in some ways, been able to take a breath on an injured. We got, Brodeen was never going to come back, Eki with the heel, et cetera, just undermanned against a juggernaut, and it ended the way that many believed it would. So, anything you're looking for from Hinesy and Billy G at 1 o'clock here on The Fan?
I want to see how clear they are about what the next steps are. We've kind of been able to follow Billy along about how he's gotten to this point with some of the moves he's made.
Yeah.
But there's still holes in this roster. Another top 6 player, whether it's a winger or a center. Of course, people would prefer center.
Yeah.
Can we build some more depth on with the defensive pairings? That's going to be tough to convince someone to step in, because I don't think you're going to knock Spurgeon or Brodeen down a peg or not. But, Bogosian's not getting any younger. Middleton, solid, not spectacular guy. Is it time for Damon Hunt to get run? But they need some center help. And whatever they do, they also need someone who can help on special teams. It's weird how the special teams are still an issue, every year.
Every year.
Yeah. Now,
it's been that way.
They were third in the power play during the regular season.
Yeah.
But it's short-circuited during the postseason.
Doesn't matter the coach, doesn't matter the players.
Penalty kill was mad during the regular season. It was mad during the postseason. So we still need to tinker with that. Things we need to fix to make this